If Trump gets thrown in jail because he breaches that gag order with Judge Juan Merchan, Maria Bartiromo says the markets will respond negatively, meaning this is starting to hit our economics and that our government should do something about it. And all the politicians seem to offer are more committees, more letter writing, nothing. They're not doing anything about it. They're basically going to let him get convicted. Then they'll do something about it. Welcome to Doug in Exile. This is where the happy patriots are. Even as we watch Trump, I believe he has to go through the gauntlet. I believe he has to be thrown in prison. I believe he will be thrown in prison if Judge Merchan and Alvin Bragg have their way. I don't know if the Stormy Daniels case is going to be enough to put him in the prosecution, but if they can get him on a gag order, I think they would do it. They want to arrest him. They want to make him into a felon before the election, even though it's going to backfire. It's not going to work on him. Let's watch Maria Bartiromo.
Just let me be clear. Viewers are sick and tired of hearings. They're sick and tired of letters. They're sick and tired of hearing complaints. They want action. President Trump is in a trial all day long, every day in New York City. Where is this committee of weaponization, and what are you doing about it?
She thinks a government committee is going to do something about it. The committee of weaponization. Let's get them. Get them, guys. I don't put a lot of hope in our government. I do put a lot of hope in the people. That's why I'm just counting on the big giant, the big taco on the big election this November. That or locally getting involved in a little student board, a little run for mayor in your little community. Go on the PTA. You have a lot of influence there. Otherwise, take one vote, throw it into that pile, and that's all that's going to happen. And Maria Bartiromo kind of shares, I think every American has run out of patience, both sides, left and right. They're like, someone do something. And it's never fast enough. That's just the way it goes, is I don't get my way.
I just spoke with Kevin Hassett, the former chairman of the White House Economics Council, and he said, make no mistake, if we see President Trump go to jail because he violated this gag order, markets will react.
Well, and they want Trump in jail. They don't want the market reaction, but the markets will react. Like New York is fiscally, it seems insolvent. It's like, who in the world trusts that? What a garbage. Loans, financials, businesses are only as good as the laws and the people that back them up. And I wouldn't feel comfortable investing anything that touched New York. It's corrupt.
The case in New York that the judge is being so, undemocratic, unconstitutional in his rulings against President Trump. It really looks like there's a conspiracy to put him in jail, to put him behind bars. And if President Trump is in chains going to Rikers Island, then would you want to buy a U.S. Treasury the next day?
I don't get why we're waiting for him to go to jail before the markets would respond. Because right now, all the system is in place to want to put him in jail. It doesn't just bother me if it happens to come to fruition. I don't feel any better if it gets thwarted this week. Let's say they keep Trump from going to jail this week, but all of those same corrupt people are still in place for a lifetime. Alvin Bragg, Letitia James, the people that, Engeron, they're not, whether if they get their way or not doesn't bother me. What bothers me is that they're there in the first place. There's the same people that are running your schools and trying to do who knows what to your children, probably worse than we can even imagine. All those systems are still in place. America, as the Joker said in Batman, Jack Nicholson, he goes, this town needs an enema. Our country needs an enema. It needs a heart transplant, brain transplant, needs a revival. America's soul needs to go be baptized, needs to go to revival tent meeting and start over. America's soul needs to handle a snake.
Well, I don't think he should be treated differently at all, Dana, but I certainly think he is being treated differently. The only thing that Alvin Bragg, the New York prosecutors team, thinks Donald Trump did wrong is that he ran for president in 2024 and he looks to be on the cusp of victory. That is the only thing that this is ultimately about.
Because if you're if you're in New York doing business and you're watching Trump get thrown up on these Stormy Daniels charges, you think Trump's the only one to ever get tangled with a porn star? The only rich, influential person in New York? New York could go after almost every business owner, real estate developer, politician, given what they did to Trump. Your law is going to be used to sculpt the city of New York for just one side, not the other side.
The thing that I'm really worried about short-term risks for the economy is that the Democrats are serious in this lawfare. And if they actually succeed, then imagine it's like we become a banana republic the moment they take them to Rikers. And I just can't imagine what happens to Treasury markets that day.
Oh, my friend, the Treasury markets are a lagging indicator. We already are a banana republic. See, he's going, when they find him guilty, the system is in place to find him guilty. Maybe we luck out and whistle past the graveyard on this one, but the system is sitting there ready. It's already corrupt. Now you're just waiting for the final evidence.
If you look at the underlying argument of the case, they can't even identify what it is that Donald Trump did. They said he committed a paperwork violation in the service of a crime, but they won't even specify the crime that he allegedly committed. And I think that when you look at all of these attacks on Donald Trump, you have to be honest with yourself.
I love when he's talking to a CNN news person and saying you have to be honest with yourself. I don't think that ever occurred to them.
Congressman, we're losing the country. So with all due respect, I'm not blaming you specifically, but it's not enough to set up a committee that's called the weaponization of federal government. That's not doing it for anybody. We want to hear more from you. We want to hear action. We want to know what the heck is going on in this New York trial where nobody can seem to come up with a crime.
She's a true believer. I love her passion. I'm far more jaded and apathetic than that. I'm farther down the line than her. She still thinks there's a fighting chance. Now, I believe Trump can win. I don't believe that solves America's moral, heart, corrupt problem. Okay. I mean, the first step, I think, has to be, I hope that he wins, just to tie a knot in the bottom of the rope and keep us from just going straight down the pooper. But he is not the Jesus that is going to reform the American heart. We have a Jesus to do that. That's not Trump's job. Trump's job is going to be to tie a knot in the bottom of the rope and keep us from getting more corrupt, even worse. But guys, we're already pretty bad.
This is not about law and this is not about justice. This is about the fact that President Joe Biden has a failed record as commander-in-chief and leader of this country, and the Democrats can't talk about that. So what they're doing is putting these trials out there and saying, focus on this, not on the fact that the world is on fire and the fact that you have gotten poorer under the presidency of Joe Biden.
Yeah, he's right. This is all politics because Biden's so weak. I love the Bob Dylan song on one of his gospel albums, When You Gonna Wake Up and Strengthen the Things That Remain. That's all we're trying to do. It's not that we're strong. There's just a tiny little threads and shreds of the Constitution, the law, good thinking, good jurisprudence that's still out there. We're going to try to strengthen those few little things that remain by getting a Trump win, Senate, House, Supreme Court, families, and then build from there. Because if we can't strengthen the things that remain, it's over, guys. I'm Doug in Exile.